Hello, welcome to the weekly wind-up with myself, Emma Kirke. Today I'm joined by an inspirational lady, namely Zoe Thompson. Zoe has had an unusual journey, which has led her to a new career and new adventures. Prior to 2005, Zoe was an overweight size 22 and had found herself in an unhealthy relationship. Zoe has joined me today to share the story of how she's turned her life around and what she's doing now to help other people. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what was the tipping point that made you decide to change your weight and your life?
Well, in 2005 we lost a close family friend, and I think when you experience any death that's unexpected, you tend to take a bit of a step back and examine your life and decisions that you're making. So that was the first thing that happened. And then shortly after I turned 30, and I knew that I didn't want to be in that physical health at 40 as well, so I knew that it was time to make some changes.
And what made you, how did you start? When you, obviously I've been overweight myself, and actually beginning the journey of weight loss is quite difficult. So how did you go about it?
Well, unfortunately, I tried to find a quick fix, and I did find a quick fix, but actually that meant that I spent a long time afterwards trying to resolve the issues that brought on. I did a very low calorie diet, which was very popular back then, thankfully not so popular now, but I spent 6 months drinking mostly milkshakes. The weight did fall off, but what happened was it created a very negative cycle around eating, a fear of eating, and then overeating, and then a very bad relationship with food as well. So whilst there was a quick fix in that the weight dropped off, it's actually taken me a lot longer to deal with some of the issues that it created, and it's also caused physical problems in that I now have ulcerative colitis, where it damaged my digestive system as well. So that wasn't the right answer, and that's what led to me doing some nutrition training, because everybody comes and asks you what you've done, and that wasn't the answer I wanted to give them. So I made the decision to go and understand nutrition and the body a bit better, so that I could give some proper answers that would help people rather than them make the same mistakes.
Now I know, obviously, competing as a strong woman, you have to eat enough food to be able to do that. How did you transition from being on a low calorie diet to suddenly deciding to do that?
Strength training was the turning point. So I had started to eat again, but what I was doing was multiple sessions at the gym to try and burn off what I was eating. So again, it was that negative cycle of eating but then trying to burn it off. Thankfully, I met a personal trainer at the gym who said, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to go upstairs up to the weight section. It will be intimidating to start off with, but only as much as you make it. Just get up there and get lifting. And then that really turned things around, because you can't lift, you can't do strength training unless you eat properly. So suddenly food became fuel rather than fear, emotion or comfort or fear or all of those other things that it had started to become.
So obviously if you start training with weights, you must have said to yourself, I enjoy this, I want to do this and push myself further. Who was it, or did you just suddenly decide that you were going to do a strong woman competition?
It was completely unplanned. I'd been doing strength training in the gym, really enjoying it, was really enjoying having that focus of PBs and challenging myself mentally and physically, which strength training is a lot about. And then one of the girls that I was training with said, there's an open day in a gym in Bristol, I'd really like to go and have a look. And so I went to keep her company and just fell in love with it. I think it was the moment where they put the harness on and we were allowed to pull the car outside. That was it. I was completely sold to it.
So if I break down, I'm just going to ring you instead?
Yes.
So did you expect when you entered that Strong Woman comp that you were going to be placing on a podium?
Not at all. So the original open day, as we were leaving, the gym owner had said that they were running a women's competition for the first time, and they said we need more women to sign up. So I agreed to do it, and I had 8 weeks to train.
Oh, wow, is that all?
Yeah, so the first novice competition that I did was really my introduction into the sport, because up until then it had been a couple of hours on an open day, so that was my first real introduction. So I did 2 novice comps and placed 5th and then 3rd. So it was my 2nd comp where I was coming home at the grand old age of 36 with my first shiny trophy for going on the board at home.
So tell me, how have you used all of these experiences to help other women? Because I know you're doing some work with some charities, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm doing some work with charities around confidence, self-limiting beliefs. Strength training for me was a huge eye-opener in mentally and physically being able to push those barriers. And I think if your conversation in your head is that you can't, then it isn't going to happen. And in the strength training world, you have to have the right conversation. And that, for me, started to translate outside of that world as well. So although I'd lost the weight, my self-confidence took a long time to come back. But I found that pushing myself in the gym was transferring out into my private life as well, and having more confidence to step outside of my comfort zone and challenge myself more. So now I'm in a position to be able to go and help other men and women to do that.
And what kind of charities are you working with?
So at the moment, I am having lots of conversations. Always a funding issue, but lots of conversations, certainly with women who are recovering offenders or victims. Quite often they happen to be in both categories. But charities like Headway, who deal with people that have had head injuries, so life-changing circumstances. Again, it's confidence and getting their life back on track. I'm open to working with any charity where there's those lifestyle changes that need that support. So yeah, it's just getting those off the ground at the moment, and lots of conversations and delivering workshops and programs that help them to do that. Back in 2015, I ran a program for women that had come out of abusive relationships. So that was a 4-month program, and the difference in the women just working on their self-confidence and what they can believe they can do was fantastic. It was a game changer for me, and I know it was a game changer for them too. So that's definitely what I want to do more of.
I was going to say, seeing them go through their own journey must be a confidence boost for you as well, isn't it?
It's huge. It's huge, yeah.
I can imagine that's like you say, a game changer. So if you're working with charities doing the confidence, do you do anything that people could perhaps look at that you're not doing through a charity? Yes,
I do work privately as well. So I do online webinars. So it's not people can join online. And the advantage to that is they can sit at home in their pyjamas with a cup of tea. I can't see them. So if they are struggling with confidence, or they're struggling with depression and anxiety, and getting to a workshop where there's people that they don't know, that can be a real blocker for people. So by doing the training online, it means that people can sit at home, they can sit where they're comfortable. I can't see them, but I can give them all of that information, and they can start to implement some of those changes that can make a real difference, but without having to step outside, or childcare and all of the other things that make things more complicated for people to get out.
So if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So my website is www.phoenixlifecoach.co.uk, and I have a Facebook page which is the same title as well. Those are probably the best places to get hold of me, but I am across all of the social media platforms.
Just finally, do you have any really quick tips for anybody who's maybe struggling to make that first step? Something.
It is the first step. That is the key thing, is taking that first step. It's never easy. It's always going to feel uncomfortable. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned through the Strong Woman training and life, one of the coaches said to me once, Zoe, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I was under a 90-kilo Atlas stone at the time. It wasn't, he didn't mean in life, it was uncomfortable, and I couldn't breathe, and I think I was being slightly whiny at the time of, this really hurts. And he said, Zoe, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that has almost become a life mantra for me now, is step outside your comfort zone, because the more you start to take those small steps, the more you open yourself up to even more opportunities. And you'll look back, I mean, if I look back now and to 2005, if you told me that some of the things I do now would be happening, I wouldn't have believed you, but it has just been lots and lots and lots of small steps.
That's an amazing note to finish on. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's been really, really good talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Emma Kirke. Goodbye for now.